So yeah, Hulk Hogan had a massive cardiac arrest. He was rushed to a local hospital. And then we have wrestlers, sending their condolences. Here's Titus O'Neil, who remembers Hulk Hogan. He went on some program, and we'll have a few of these here.
Well documented. My relationship with Hulk Hogan, the character.
Remember when they wore like the pirate gear together at that one WrestleMania? They were dressed like pirates, brother. Yo ho, me mateys, brothers. Yo ho, me brothers. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Has always been professional, and for years, as a kid, much like many others around the globe, I was a Hulk Hogan fan. As I got older, obviously
so
finding out Terry Bollea, the man, there were some differences of opinions and some differences in moral fibers between us too, but it never stopped me from really idolizing what he set the table for me and many other WWE superstars to do, which is to perform on the grandest stage of them all. And I had the opportunity of a lifetime professionally to host WrestleMania with him here in our hometown of Tampa. And it was an amazing experience that I'll never forget. And,
that's the best picture right there.
Out of respect for the family and the fans, many of them that are grieving today, it's not about my personal relationship with him. It's really more so about my professional.
Racist comments he had made. He was reinstated a few years later. As a person of color, how did that
oh my God, I hate when the news does this.
Impact you, and what did you think of all that?
To me, it wasn't necessarily about how I felt. It was really more so about what was the actual remorse for the comment. Oh, it's well documented. It was a statement put out by me and many other superstars as well in regards to our feelings on it. As a person of color that has what I feel like has contributed to the sports and entertainment business within WWE in a positive manner. For me, it is always going to be about people and giving people the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves. We'll apologize and it will fall on deaf ears regardless. And then some people will apologize and it will be the welcoming system back to them kind of getting back into good graces with folks for them to be remembered for who they are.
I'll say this, side note, I want to see Titus back on commentary. You guys remember when he came and did commentary like not that long ago? I want to say a year, maybe more, maybe less than that. It's all blurred together at this point. But when he was on commentary, he was getting turned up, man, and that was such a fun time. And I don't know, I like his vibe. I've always been a Titus fan, dude. I was a big primetime player, making moves, making $1 million moves. Got this $1 million. I love that crew. So here we go. Untold story of Hulk Hogan from Sergeant Slaughter. A presentation of, so what is this? Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Oh, I'm like, how long is this hashtag? Presentation of Remembering Hulk Hogan, hosted by David LaGreca. So let's hear what Slaughter, he tells a story. Shout out Busted Open, Serious, Pro Wrestling Nation, LaGreca, Slaughter, everyone.
I got a call from Vince McMahon, and he said, Sergeant, I got an idea. I see your contract with Hasbro is almost up. He said, I got an idea. WrestleMania 7, I want you and Hulk Hogan to sell it out for me at the LA Coliseum. And I said, sounds good to me. How are you going to make Hulk Hogan the villain? And he said, Hulk. What do you mean, Hulk? I said, yeah, I thought you were going to make Sergeant Slaughter, G.I. Joe, the real American hero. Is only you can do it, Vince. And he goes, no, I got another idea. I want you to come back to the WWF and be pissed off. One day before this all happened, I'm on an airplane, and there next to me is Hulk Hogan. And he looks over to me. We never really talked much, And he said, I told Vince I wanted you back. He wanted WrestleMania 7 to be either the tugboat, the earthquake, or that Ultimate Warrior again. And I said, I'm not wrestling any of them.
That doesn't work for me, brothers. Oh, shit.
Quarterback, and I'll do it. So that's kind of how it all happened. Hulk asked for Vince to bring me in as the villain. So gotta thank him. I always called Terry my golden goose, because every time we wrestled, I made more money. I got a
Yeah, good thing it wasn't Tugboat. That's all I'm saying. So WWE is saddened to learn WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away. One of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 80s. WWE extends its condolences to Hogan's family, friends, and fans. And yeah, Ric Flair, he broke down on TMZ. He tweeted out, "I'm absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of my close friend, Hulk Hogan. Hulk has been by my side since we started in the wrestling business, an incredible athlete, talent, friend, and father. Our friendship has meant the world to me." It's weird because every word is in caps. Like, it starts with the caps. "He was always there for me, even when I didn't ask for him to be. He was one of the first to visit me when I was in the hospital with a 2% chance of living, and he prayed by my bedside. Hulk also lent me money when Reed was sick. Hulkster, no one will ever compare to you. Rest in peace, my friend." And it was really them. It was really like Hulkster in WWF and then Flair in WCW. Like, who's the best in the world? Here we go. We have some more reactions. So, The Miz, he said, "When I was a kid, I ate my vitamins and said my prayers." And by the way, Miz killed it on SmackDown. He's in Cleveland. He sets up his line, "I'm The Miz and the whole crowd goes, "Awesome." And then he goes back. And then he fucking goes out there and slaps Jacob in the face. And Fatu goes out there, gets beat relatively quick, but that was his job. And he fucking made Jacob look good doing it. And he was real intense and everything. Fuck yeah, man. I love The Miz. But he's like, "I ate my vitamins, said my prayers because Hulk Hogan told me to. He was someone I looked up to, a larger-than-life presence I copied constantly growing up. The voice, the flexing, the charisma. He made you want to be bold, loud, confident. He made you believe you could be something. Years later, I had just come off the real world, trying to find my footing in WWE. I was backstage nervous, not trying to step on toes, hoping to earn respect. And then Hulk Hogan called me over. I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my God, I'm about to talk to Hulk Hogan. He goes, 'Tell me about that reality show you were on, Jack.' And I was like, it's Mike, actually. 'Well, let me tell you something, brother.' We talked for 30 minutes about the real world, what it was like, what the experience meant. And I walked away thinking, did that really just happen? A year later, Hogan Knows Best premiered, and I couldn't help but wonder if that conversation had anything to do with it. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but I'll never forget that moment. Every time I saw him after that, he was kind. He'd compliment me, tell me how great of a job I was doing, and coming from him, that meant everything. My thoughts are with his family, his friends, and everyone who loved him. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Thank you for the time, the words, and the impact. Brother, you were larger than life and somehow even bigger in person." Yeah, and like Maurice has a story about Hulkster too. So I think we have a video. Ric Flair broke down talking about Hulkster. So the president, Donald Trump, WWE Hall of Famer, says, "We lost a great friend today, the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan was great, was MAGA all the way, strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. He gave an absolute electric speech at the Republican National Convention. It was about me. That was one of the highlights of the entire week. He entertained fans from all over the world, and the cultural impact he had was massive. To his wife, Sky, and family, we give our warmest, best wishes and love. Hulk Hogan will be greatly missed." Now, his wife, Sky, we'll get into that in a bit because people are throwing conspiracy theories around about her already and shit. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just fuck the internet, bro. We're doomed. So Jimmy Hart has paid tribute to his best friend, Hulk Hogan. What can you... No, should I do the Jimmy Hart? What can you say when losing a best friend? First, to Hulk's family, I love you. I'm here for you all. Hulkster, you always kept me close to you through everything. It was an honor. We traveled the world back and forth. Wherever we went, Hulkamania was alive, brother. The fans always came out, and we loved every minute of it. You made more people smile than I'll ever be able to count. Those are the memories I'll forever cherish. Thank you for a 4-decade ride. I will keep the megaphone going. Red and yellow will live on. Legends never die, baby. I love you, Terry. Hulkamania forever. And yeah, he was breaking down hard on stage there on SmackDown. And Joe Carney posted that the WWF became the WWE on May 6, 2002. This was the last glimpse before the transition to WWE. And if you look, it's the WWF logo, and on the title, it has the WWF logo, right? So, and then the next time we saw it, we were officially in the WWE era. He was the last WWF champion and the first WWE champion. That's only 0.5% of the history he helped create. So that's a cool little fucking stat that not many people think about. We think about his WrestleMania, his what fucking 12 world title wins, 6 in WWE, 6 in WCW, all the WrestleManias and shit, but you don't think about this little factoid here, which is really cool that happened. Who put him over again? Wasn't it Triple H? Am I right about that? So Vince McMahon tweeted for like the first time in forever, and he says, the world lost a treasure today, pal. Hulk Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time, someone who was loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer, the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon. His grit, something like a phenomenon. His grit and unbridled thirst for success were unparalleled and made him the consummate performer. He gave everything he had to the audience, whom he appreciated, respected, and loved. He leaves us with one of his favorite expressions. Train, take your vitamins, dude, and say your prayers, brothers. Today we pray for him. It's crazy to hear from Vince too. So people pulled up to his beach restaurant and this dude was playing the bagpipes. Now here's the thing. Wasn't he like a big Irish? Like wasn't the original Hulk Hogan thing is like he's an Irishman or something as well? So you got to think like there's people alive. This guy's bagpiping it up for him, which is cool to see as well, you know? I don't know. I'm not a big bagpipe guy myself, but so who tweeted this? Devon said, we all are guilty in one way, shape, or form of saying something or doing something that wouldn't be considered appropriate. I'm not condoning in any way what happened or what was said at his lowest point because, listen, I'm African-American. I get it, okay? If anybody gets it, it's us as African-American people. And then he goes on to say, but at the same time, you can't deny what this man has done for the wrestling business. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, there would be no WWE, there would be no AEW, there would be no TNA, there'd be no Dave Meltzer. There would be none of this. We wouldn't even be having this platform right now. We're able to still be relevant in the business because of that man. The business is hot right now. So for people to say what they say about the comments he made, I get it. I understand why you're hurt by it. I was hurt by it too. But like the Bible says, forgive, because if you don't forgive your brother, I will not forgive you. And that's exactly what the Bible says. Fucking dropping bars is Devon Dudley. Here's Ric Flair on TMZ.
Or then they'll never know. People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends. And we kept it up with each other on a regular basis. So I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
How did you get the news? I'm so sorry, Rick. I am so sorry.
Oh, I've gotten it from everybody. My phone won't stop. We had magic. I mean, it wasn't like me and Steamboat, but we had, or then you'll never know.
Oh, why'd they cut that off? I wanted to hear him compare it. Because, like, yeah, that's the one big fumble, I think, on Vince's part is he just never did Hogan Flair properly, you know? Think about a guy like Flair still kicking it, man. Maurice recalls a Hulk Hogan story from 2006. So she says, still trying to process the loss of someone who made a big impact on my very first day in WWE. Hulk Hogan was the first person who ever took me under his wing. It was 2006. I had just been eliminated from the Diva search that night, and I was feeling crushed. I walked into the TV hotel after Raw in Cleveland, heels on, dragging 2 giant suitcases up the stairs because there was no elevator, and suddenly I felt a hand on my left. It was Hulk, grabbing one of my bags, helping me the rest of the way. He looked at me and said, "You look like you could sit down and have a cheeseburger and fries." We sat down in the hotel lobby restaurant and talked wrestling for over an hour. He shared stories, gave me incredible advice, and in that moment reminded me why I was there. That night changed everything for me. Over the years, we shared a great friendship. He always loved talking about our show, the kids, Mike, and family. I'm forever grateful for that night, that conversation, and for knowing him. Rest in peace, Hulkster brother. Thank you for everything. Yeah, so the Mizanin, is that how you say it? Mizanin? The Mizanin family, very tight with Hulkster, dude. Brooke Hogan is at peace following her father's death. She wrote a statement. She hadn't spoken to him since, I guess, like 2023, and she just told him to rest and, like, be cool. and like stop going so hard. So Madison Square Garden put up this tribute to Hulkster, which is insane. But think about like the original Garden. You know, who drew the most money there? Is it Hulk, or is someone going to be like, actually Bruno Sammartino? I don't know, but yeah, that's just amazing. Teddy Long recalls his final message to Hulk Hogan 20 minutes before his death. Tell him I love him. Steve Austin had this to say. So, you know, it's Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, and John Cena. Those are the three biggest draws ever in wrestling, right? They have to be. Like as far as merchandise sales and all the works, right? Like it has to be those three. Like the complete everything, megastar, all that stuff. They have to be the top three. So Steve Austin had this to say. Hulk Hogan was born to be a professional wrestler, larger than life, charisma for days. He was in a stratosphere all on his own. His contributions are immense, kid. His influence will be forever. What? Hulkamania lives on. What? My condolences to his family and loved ones. Yeah, dude, legends never die, man. So Mark Henry said, Hogan's place on Mount Rushmore, I think, is concrete. I've never heard somebody say, oh, yeah, my Mount Rushmore, and Hogan wasn't on it. I feel like some of the people out there have this bias, or they want to delve into the negativity of Hogan's life. He means personal life. Not going to do it, guys. It's a celebration of his life and what he gave to the sport. Hogan gave probably the most important thing that any wrestler can give to our sport and to our business. He made it better. He made the whole world know about the sport that particularly didn't even watch wrestling. That's the mark of somebody that I feel like is a great beacon and a great stalwart for our industry. Hell yeah. It's the world's strongest man right there. And that's a shoot, brother. Here's Michael Cole on Sports Center talking about the legacy of Hulk Hogan. Let's take a listen.
Almost half a century. What did Hulk Hogan mean to the world of sports entertainment at large?
Well, Elle, you and I were talking before we came on the air. This has been a rough week for those of us who came of age in the 80s. Malcolm Jamal Warner, of course, Ozzy Osbourne, and today, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon created sports entertainment. There's a reason that Netflix and Peacock and USA Network are bringing our shows on a weekly basis because of what they created back in the 1980s, taking this small regional promotion and turning it into this global juggernaut. There are millions and millions
and millions
of people my age and your age as well who would not be professional wrestling fans today if it wasn't for the immortal Hulk Hogan. He epitomized what it was to be a superstar
with force and shit.
The 24-inch pythons.
They even put like his motion in the games because it's like different. You know, the way he'd hit him was different.
The great shape, preaching to the.
I always love that too. When I love the finish to the Sheik match, like he's in the clutch, he stands up out of it because, like, in context at the time, you know, it's like I always say this on the show. You know, one of the scariest movies of all time in history is Alien, and I get that people would be like, oh, come on now, Phil, that's not very fair. I get like millennials and shit would be like, oh, Alien's not even that scary. But no, at the time when that came out, it fucking blew people's minds. They didn't see shit like that. You know, The Exorcist, yeah, you can watch it now because every movie's like crazy CGI, gore-tastic. You know, they can put whatever in any of these movies now. But back then, it's like the reason that's one of the scariest movies of all time is because, like, without that fucking movie, there's not all these other movies that it set the bar. I feel like a bar setter is the Iron Sheik, like kicking out right after the 3, like all that, dude. It's just, I've always loved that.
Python.
The little details, man, the subtle things. That's what's great about pro wrestling.
The great shape, preaching to the children to say their prayers and take their vitamins. He was larger than life. He was Terry Bollea turned up to number 10. And in the 1980s, he was probably the most famous person on the planet. Anywhere you went, you would hear the name Hulk Hogan. He hosted Saturday Night Live. He, of course, main evented WrestleManias, as you mentioned before, Grammy Awards. He was part of television shows and feature films. Hulk Hogan created the entire rock and wrestling era in WWE and really put sports entertainment on the map.
He did, and I'm, you know, I told you this too. I'm remembering having the plush toy of Hulk Hogan with the hair and the bandana. And you mentioned larger than life. I think one of the most iconic Hulk Hogan moments was at WrestleMania 3. He body slams Andre the Giant. Can you talk about that moment in sports history?
Well, El, there were really two moments between Hulk and Andre the Giant. This is a rivalry that really may have been the greatest in professional wrestling history. Of course, WrestleMania 3, the Pontiac.
Yeah, a lot of people from that time will argue that too. Like, dude, you guys, I've heard people make the argument like, y'all got to understand the impact that Andre Hulk had. Like, that it has to be one of the greatest rivalries, because without it, we don't get to where we are. And how crazy it was to see Andre like rip his shirt. You rip my chain, brother. You know, when you rip my gold chain crucifix off my neck, Jack. I had a hard time taking my vitamins the next day, dude. So people will argue that. A lot of us are like, oh, Rock Austin and stuff like that. But it's like, we don't even get there without Hogan Andre.
Silver
was bigger. Like, the houses were fucking gigantic. And again, we're in people are paying this premium to see like WWE do a WWE event. You know, there's like the outliers. Roman, you might be able to argue like maybe he's starting to cross over. But I don't think so. I think if you yelled WWE in a mall, or you yelled Roman Reigns in a mall and said, hey, how many of you know what this is? How many of you know what this is? Most people would fucking know what WWE just as, you know, whereas like Hulk Hogan, he was like bigger than fucking WWE. Like, Vince really reeled it in, and he worked with Vince, but you know, he was becoming bigger was bigger in a lot of ways as well. So it's just crazy, man. It's nuts. Like, to think, I don't know. To me, like, when you watch a match like The Rock versus Hogan, to me, it's like crazy to me that people don't see that as one of the best matches ever. Like, they could have just went in there and like high-fived and the crowd would have fucking erupted. They didn't have to do anything. And that's like, imagine you're so over. And I don't fucking know. It's just the beauty of what you do, of the whole art of like what they do, rather you do, what Hogan did, or what Michael Cole does, or Andre, what you do in the pro wrestling business. You know, it's just working people into like having the best time of their fucking lives. So he did it in like the biggest era where it was you know, shit's on MTV and stuff. Like, when that people don't understand the magnitude of what MTV was back then and shit, you know, compared to like now, there's no equivalent to it because people just find content in their niche little pockets now, you know.
500-pound Andre the Giant.
Whereas someone pointed it out earlier, 33.3 million Illuminati or whatever, right? Tuned in to see fucking Hogan Andre. Like, that's crazy. People don't gather for shit like that anymore, unless it's maybe like the Super Bowl. But even then, you can watch it on streaming, brother. Coming to Netflix.
Consider the greatest WrestleMania match in history because of the story that was told. 2002 Skydome, Toronto, WrestleMania 18. It was Hogan versus The Rock, 68,000.
This moment, and the way they do the look at both sides of the arena, like all of it, it was just everything about this match, dude, was the grading over the fucking piled on top of each other.
The Rock, and for me, was a year later at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle. My broadcast partner Taz and I were at ringside and had the opportunity to call our first Hulk Hogan premium live event match, and that was a match at WrestleMania against Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon, of course, was the villain. He was the guy who was running the corporate industry of WWE that people like Hulk Hogan were fighting against. And they dubbed this 20 years in the making, McMahon versus Hogan. And it was an incredible moment in my career to be able to call Hulk Hogan in a match of that caliber.
You know, we just mentioned sort of generationally what Hulk Hogan meant and who he was. Of course, for us, it was because of our age, all about the wrestling. There was, of course, people who only remember him from reality TV.
Talking in-ring performance, I'm talking about the way that he brought our industry into the mainstream, into the forefront of society, where people in every country on this earth would know the name Hulk Hogan, would know the name WWF/WWE. What are you going to do, brother? Had a lot of detractors. He was very controversial.
And he used to go, when I put the squeeze on him, brother, because he used to do like the torture rack. But what is that move called? I guess that's like a Canadian backbreaker, right? Where you like, you power him up and then you don't have him in a torture rack, but you have him over one shoulder and you're like bear hugging him, or you do the bear hug, right? And he'd be like, when these arms put the squeeze on you, dude. That was funny too. That was his thing for a while. And the leg drop was just like a move he did. You know, and thank God whoever told him, dude, that should be your finish. But it did fuck his back and hips up and stuff. So maybe not, but at the same time, that's how he made his goddamn money. That move is so iconic, you know?
Controversial, obviously, toward the end of his career. But no matter what you think about Hulk Hogan, his legacy as a professional wrestler will probably be the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Shout out to Michael Cole there. Here is what DDP had to say about the Hulkster. Chat, we're diving in deep with the Hulkster stuff
I'm fed
here.
up because these guys are never. He goes, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something, dude.
Whatever you're
Let me tell you something, Diamond Dallas.
doing, keep doing it because it's not today or next year or the year after. He goes, but somewhere down the line, I honestly believe that you could draw huge money with me. And he walked away. And all I could think about was like, did Hulk Hogan just tell me he watched my matches? And one of the things that I strongly believe at my core, you know, a lot of people believe it's all about who you know, or who knows you. But what it's really about is who's willing to say they know you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Who's willing to pick up the phone and make a call for you and put their name on the line for you. And I went to go up the stairs to get on the bus, and I hear Diamond. I walk downstairs into the room, his locker room, and Bischoff's with him. And he says to Eric, you need to do something with him because I feel down the line, he could draw huge money with me. And now my fucking jaws dropped, right? And it was Hulk. Like, you guys have heard me say this before. This is my quote. Never.
Damn.
Never underestimate the power someone gives you by believing in you.
Damn. Ugh.
I'm
It's hard to see your heroes like get all emotional and shit, you know? Let's see here. I'm gonna check in with chat. I just want to you know, The Rock posted a lengthy goodbye. And basically he tells the story, you know, to the millions of little kids. To millions of little kids, you were a hero. You know, at MSG, you kept your word with a handshake. Thanks, kid. To a 12-year-old little boy 17 years later, and I'm wrestling you at WrestleMania. You know, you may have passed the torch to me that night, but my friend, you drew the house, meaning you sold out every arena and stadium across the country in your prime as Hulk Hogan. From deep in my bones and on behalf of this wild and crazy world of professional wrestling, I say to you, then, now, and forever, thank you for the house, brother. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers are just like, thank you for the house, Hulk. And yeah. Netflix has been working on Hulk Hogan docuseries for the past year. And I mean, it's so tragic, but it's going to end with him passing, you know? And they're documenting the whole goddamn thing. So, yeah, I hope everybody tunes in his memory and all of that. But yeah, they've been documenting. So all of this struggles of his surgeries and stuff and everything, we're going to probably see that in this doc. So that will be a tremendously hard watch, especially posthumously, you know? Here's what Eric Bischoff had to say. He did a Hulk Hogan tribute episode of 83 Weeks. And he was, remember, man, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are such good brothers, brother, that at one point Hulkster sold everything to Bischoff for $1 to protect his shit. Bischoff could have royally screwed him there with that, and he didn't, right? He chose not to. Like a good friend, you know? Some people's families would probably fuck them if you gave them that type of power over everything you own when you're trying to protect it, right? But these guys were brothers, and Real American Freestyle Wrestling is coming out soon, and Hulkster was a big part of that. And I think their show will be in memoriam of him as well. Let's listen to what Bischoff had to say.
Finally now sinking in, but it's surreal, man. It's not just, in my case, losing one of my best friends. That's a big enough deal. But everywhere I look for the last 2 days, it's Hulk Hogan. He's all over the news. He's all over social media, and the outpouring of good stuff makes me smile. No, this is going to be not going to be easy. Wow. So it's just starting to sink in, and it will, and we'll go about our business, because that's what he would do. He'd be kicking my ass if he thought I was moping around and, as he would say, missing a beat. Brother, you miss a beat, brother. So
Can't miss a beat, brother. Can't miss a beat,
Finally.
Jack. Here's what Bubba Ray had to say. And we're almost done with the Hulk Hogan tributes and that, but I think it's important, guys. So if you're not here for that, I fucking sorry. It's my show. Make your own show and then go and then don't do this, right?
We lost the biggest name in professional wrestling. And make no mistake, Hulk Hogan is the biggest name in professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan is the be-all and end-all when it comes to this business. Without Hulk, all of this stuff does not go on. This business doesn't boom the way it did and continues to do. Without Hulk Hogan, there is no match against The Rock for the greatest of all time. There is no house. There's no house in the Garden. There's no house in Toronto at the Superdome or whatever.
At the Superdome, Jack.
There's no house in Sheboygan, Duluth, Des Moines, Bangor, and Bakersfield. Hulk Hogan will always be responsible for the house. And in this case, the house is in the entire professional wrestling business.
So earlier in the show, at the start of the show, we covered, sort of the lighter side of Hogan's passing, right? But there's been some dark side to it. I'm sure there'll be a Dark Side of the Ring episode about Hulk Hogan too, to some degree. I'm sure of it. I'm certain of it now that he's gone. And of course, in the Sicko segment, if we get around, I'm sure we will tonight, but there's a lot of, not a lot. I didn't go overboard with it, but just a few to drive the point home or reflect some hypocrisies in that. But something that just pertains to a WWE Superstars, Chelsea Green. So she put her condolences out for Hulk Hogan, and then she got attacked by like a bunch of sickos, right? And then she like retracted her condolences with this tweet saying like, or no, sorry, it isn't this tweet. This is her tweet, like sort of hanging it up on social media. But so she puts out a tweet sort of like retracting her condolences and like apologizing for sending condolences. And then she got attacked by wackos for being like, you shouldn't have taken it back. I can't even imagine. She got it from both sides, pause. And I don't even want to fucking know what her DMs looked like that day, dude. And so she tweeted out, a significant part of my role at WWE involves engaging with the public and responding to questions, often on live platforms. Yesterday, I was asked to comment on Hulk Hogan on live TV. Let me be clear. My stance on racism is unwavering. I do not condone it, period. If my response or tweet seemed dismissive of real concerns, I sincerely apologize. That was never my intention. I try to acknowledge a death respectfully, even when the legacy is complicated. I'm learning one day at a time and will continue to learn. Oh, so this was like her apology, I guess, for sending condolences. I don't know. But there's another tweet where she quit socials. That's probably in the Sicko segment, okay? There was a day where the bookmarks were messing up too, and I don't know, some stuff might not even be bookmarked. We might have to do a rapid fire round at the end of the show just to clear up what's, floating in the, what would it be called? The limbo. She shouldn't have apologized for sending condolences. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one of these guys who likes to rely on like everything's woke, man. But like when you pander to that sort of audience, like she kind of does. No, I don't want to call it pander. Let's get into some conspiracy time now, because there is some dark shit, obviously, that has come out of, as much as there's a light side of everyone praising Hulk Hogan for his contributions to the business, there's a dark side of the ring, as we know. And so conspiracies are afoot immediately. Whenever there's a high-profile divorce, everyone wants to know the ins and outs and who gets what and who keeps the dog and is the ex-wife involved. And by the way, I think Linda Hogan did make up some lie and say, like, Brooke's just trying to get all his money and she hasn't talked to him in 7 years or something. And then Brooke came out and was like, I haven't talked to my dad since 2023 and I told him to take it easy, but I'm at peace with whatever. So again, just... Linda getting in the mix, whatever. I'm not gonna speculate or talk or whatever, right? Hulk just passed. It's still fresh. I get it, but people are running with these stories. Hulk Hogan's widow is set to inherit millions as a legal war brews over WWE Legends estate. So like immediately, these are the fucking discussions, right? So Ringside News posts that. Ringside News, like the National Enquirer of the IWC, but hey. Hulk Hogan's widow accused of locking down a $25 million estate within hours of his death. An estate law expert, June Fredrickson, explained how it works. Even if Sky was left out of his estate and he didn't update his trust since they married, she would still get a spousal elective share, which she is entitled to 30% in Florida. If Brooke is left out of the will, she can contest it. Fredrickson warned, adding that the case would then land in probable court. Sky said that my heart is in pieces. I wasn't ready for this. He had been dealing with some health issues, but I truly believed he would overcome them. I had so much faith in his strength. I thought we still had more time. The loss is sudden and impossible to process. To the world, he was a legend, but to me, he was my Terry, the man I love, my partner, my heart. I don't know, man. Like, he got married as like his third wife or something, but I'm not one to say like they seemed happy and shit together. And Bubba the Love Sponge, though, right? This is where the conspiracy comes in. Apparently, like within 6 hours of his death or something. But maybe that's what Hulkster wanted too, because like, and again, we're playing like it's the hot goss. We're spilling the tea, right? Right, girls? Girls in the chat say, hey, say yeah. No. But it's like, maybe Linda's poking around trying to get money still or something, and this is what he wanted. We don't fucking know. It's wild that people are already just writing up these stories, but it was bound to happen. I knew this was going to happen. But Bubba the Love Sponge says, allegedly, so Jade, I think they were they were mad because I knew they were going to start doing stuff like this. This is a report that we got this morning. It says within 6 hours of Hulk Hogan's death, his wife Sky Daly made 3 shocking moves to protect his remaining $25 million estate from outsiders. 1, she immediately shut down rumors about Hogan's health and death, denying coma or collapse reports and insisting he was recovering well with a strong heart. 2, she had led the creation of estate trusts, moving Hogan's WWE shares, music rights, real estate, and endorsements into trusts that only she and their children can inherit. 3, she blocked legal claims from estranged about children, Brooke and Nick. There's reportedly $26 million up for grabs, not including another 25 to 30 in real estate. Shouldn't that go to Nick and Brooke and the wife and the grandbabies? Yeah, I agree, but I'm just too dumb to understand what this shit means. Like, what is she? So she made 3 shocking moves. Okay, so she led the creation of a state trust, moving his shares into trust that only she and their children can inherit. I mean, is that a bad thing? I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. I just hope, their kids and grandkids and shit should get it, right? That makes the most sense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Hulk Hogan / WWE conspiracy news.